Alright, as you can see, question number 11 is identical to a prior question where you basically need to solve the system and determine whether it has no solution, unique solution, or infinitely many. And so in this case, you have 2x minus y equals 4, which if I subtract the 2x, I'm going to get negative y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. And then I multiply all of the line to get rid of this negative by negative 1 to get y equals positive 2x minus 4. Here's what's interesting. If I simply look at the second equation, I can already see that I have, in essence, I'm going to end up with the same equation. So this is the same line, and in this case it has many solutions. Alright. The next one very similar. Again, if you solve for y, you end up, initially you're going to end up with negative y is equal to negative 2x plus 6, because I'm going to subtract that 2x on both sides, right? And now multiply by negative 1, so this first equation actually becomes y equals 2x minus 6. Same thing's going to happen here. If I add the 2x to both sides, you get y equals 2x minus 6. So it's actually the same system. Now, there is a notation that you use here, and I'm just going to show you so you can use the notation they provide for you for number 11. Look at number 11 real quick. And you see how it says for number 11, y equals 2x minus 6. So that's what they want you to do, just like you solved for that initially, okay? So just so you can make sure that you see why. If I'm adding this 2x on both sides like I showed you, this cancels, leaving you y equals, and we always write the 2x first and then the minus 6. So in essence, it's the same equation that you're calculating there. Alright, let me go back to number 12. There are some questions that were initially placed on here that we're not going to do, but number 12 is the one that we are going to do because we talked about this. So, in this equation is a system of equation involving a party rental company. They have chairs and tables, so guess what? This is x, this is y. The total cost to rent 9 chairs and 7 tables is 63, so that means that 9x plus 7y equals 63. They give you a second situation where it costs to rent 3 chairs and 5 tables, $39. And so we use the system of equation to solve for these. My suggestion, multiply this bottom row by negative 3. Because that'll give this negative 9 and these will cancel, right? So you end up with negative 9x minus 15y. And then this equals 39 times 3. And so let's see here. 39 times 3 is 117. And all you're going to do is bring over this equation over here. So you have 9x plus 7y equals 63. So you can see when I add these that will cancel. This leaves me negative 8y is equal to, and this is a negative 117. Take away 63 from that, you get 54, negative 54 of that. And so that divided by 8 gives you a value of y equal to 6.75. Choose any of the two original equations. So I'm going to choose the 3x plus 5y, but instead of y, I'm going to put in 675. And this equals 39. So that means that if I take 5 times 6.75, that gives me 33.75. that equals 39, and this 3x stays here. We're now going to subtract that 3375 on both sides. Alright, and this leaves us 3x is equal to, in this case 39 minus the 33.75, we are left with 5.25, which we are now going to divide by 3. Okay, so that divided by 3 is $1.75. So x is equal to 1.75, and that's what they're asking you. Alright, let's do number 14. So number 14, that's the mixture question we talked about. And so if you recall, the first thing you want to do is identify your x and your y. And so in that case, let's see. Change the font. Let's go with blue. So a scientist has two solutions labeled A and B, so they even labeled for you. Look at how easy that was. Each contains salt. It says she knows the solution A is 70% salt. So here's what I'm going to call this. I'm going to call this A, and I'm going to call this B. And according to this, this is 0.7A, and this is 0.95B. Alright, and so she wants to obtain 140 ounces. So I know that A plus B for the quantity has to be 140. For the mixture, I should have 0.70A plus 0.95B is equal to 140 times 80. Alright, so we need to solve the system of equations. So I'm going to do a couple of things to that second equation. First of all, I need to find out what 140 times 80 is. 0.80 of that, sorry, times 0.80, my mistake, 112. So all of this is 112. So I have 0.7A plus 0.95B is equal to 112. I don't know what I just did at the end there, but let's erase it. Okay, the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that by 100. Because if I multiply by 100, this becomes 70A plus 95B is equal to 112 and 100, 0, 0. Add 2 zeros for the 100. Multiply. You have this, the first equation, which is A plus B is equal to 140. I'm going to multiply all of this by negative 70 to cancel out A. So this is going to become my new equation. This is going to become negative 70A minus 70B is equal to, in this case, this will become 140. I'm sorry, 140 times 70, which is going to be 9,800. Negative of that. So now I've canceled that equation, and now I'm going to combine my two equations. You can see the 70A's cancel. This leaves you with 25B is equal to, and we have 11,200 minus 9,800, which is 1400. And then I'm going to divide by 25. And I get 56. So B is equal to 56. Here's what I already know about this equation. I already know that A plus B has to equal 140. So I have A plus 56 is 140, and so if I subtract 56 on both sides, this gives me my answer. So in this case, 140 minus 56 means that A is 84. And that's what they wanted. Okay, I think that's it for the review for this test, because the rest is anticipating the next section. So we haven't covered that material, so I'm going to pause the video here.